Hello, everyone. Jeff Wade, co-founder of Crypto World. So we're starting to get more and more things that we're trying to post online, so more people have access to what we're doing here at Crypto World. We have a guest speaker today that was kind enough to partake in our event. We had a guest speaker that canceled last minute, and Andrew McDowell is here with us. He happened to walk into Crypto World, and with his experience and expertise, we decided to ask him to see if he would speak at today's event. But we have Andrew McDowell, right? Did I say that right?
That's correct. Thank you.
Andrew, thanks for being with us today. We were probably going to NFT this moment because this is our very first event that we're actually recording and posting on YouTube with an interview. And I was just joking around with him that when we have Michael Saylor here, in 6 months or so, then he can say that he did the very first one here at Crypto World. But Andrew, thanks for being with us today. Can you just tell us a little bit about yourself and how you first got into crypto?
Sure. So my name is Andrew McDowell, a new transplant to St. Louis, Missouri, just across the river from your store here, which I understand is the first brick and mortar crypto store in the country.
Yeah, the very first one. We're actually planning on opening up. Our goal is to open up 500 locations all over the U.S. We're also getting requests from all over the world. Korea, we had somebody from in Mexico that asked if we can do it. Dubai, somebody else asked from some sort of one of the islands that I had to kind of tell them, well, I don't know if there's enough people in there, but we can see what the opportunities lie. So very excited what we're doing here, and excited that you're here partaking with us and kind of helping us out along the ways.
Yeah. So truly, crypto worldwide, decentralized. I love that.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So for me, I got into crypto. I'd heard about it a long time ago, probably back in 2017. I used to listen to Peter Schiff a lot, his podcast. And I felt that something was wrong with the economy. It's like the Fed's printing too much money. The currency is going to be devalued. Like, what do I do? So I went into gold, pretty heavy. Didn't really perform. I was like, oh, well, that was kind of a waste. Like, what's next? It wasn't until probably April of 2021 I started paying more attention to Raoul Pal and Real Vision and his case for the exponential economy. And I was like, wow, this makes so much sense. It clicked in my mind. I was like, I have to get involved. I have to start participating and learning about this space. So now I feel pretty experienced. I've done a lot of research into decentralized finance, also NFTs. I mentioned Peter Schiff, so if Peter McCormick ever hears this, he might get a kick out of that comment. But I also like Peter McCormick and his podcast, What Bitcoin Did. So
okay,
that's another good one.
You ever listen to Michael Saylor?
I listen to a lot of Michael Saylor interviews on other platforms. So
yeah.
He's an interesting guy. His background is an engineer. I think he has a lot of multidisciplinary experience into what cryptocurrency can be. I know he speaks of it as like digital energy, and he talks about phase transitions. I really appreciate the Rand McNally versus Google Map analogy as a geospatial professional. I think that's a really cool one.
Yeah, I guess with him, he's a Bitcoin maximalist, right? So, he's one of the few guys that I listened to early on just to get the understanding of the why with Bitcoin and blockchain technology. But yeah, I use a lot of his quotes. Not that I believe in everything that he says, like, sell everything, sell your house, and then
that's a little too extreme for me.
Buy just Bitcoin and don't diversify. But
he has some really good points. So think about the network effects of Bitcoin, how much coordinated activity globally that unlocked. Think about like the Human Genome Project. That's the only other analog I can think of is like a bunch of people cooperating together to add value. Think about having mapping the human genome unlocked so much value in like pharmacy and medical applications. Bitcoin unlocked trustless cooperation. So cooperation that you don't need to have a prior like trusting relationship with someone in order to collaborate. I think that is going to unlock a lot more applications we haven't even thought of in the future.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. It's kind of interesting that between Michael Saylor and Raoul Pal, I guess you saw, and I think we may have talked about this earlier, and how he sold all his or most of his Bitcoin to get into Ethereum. So, what are your thoughts on Ethereum and the future of it? When is it going to go 2.0? I mean, mine's staked. It's been a year now, but I can't touch it until it goes 2.0. So, a lot of folks like me probably early on didn't think it would take this long, but at least it doesn't allow me to touch it or sell it or do anything with it. So that's one positive, right? Well, I'm collecting some interest.
Right. So I know a little bit about Ethereum and the 2.0 roadmap. I do understand that it's delayed. I think that'll be interesting to have it as a proof of stake instead of a proof of work. I'm not really sure what that looks like on the other side. I think part of the delay is the developers behind it aren't even sure what it's going to look like. So maybe there's some hesitancy. Everyone will be really cautious about rolling out a big change like that. But my I'd say expertise is mostly in decentralized finance. That's what I started with. I got in really early. I've seen it evolve from yield farming to now like lending, insurance, futures on future yield. Like it's gone like exponential, the amount of innovation in the space. And the other thing that has me really interested is non-fungible tokens. So creating digital scarcity. Before NFTs, that was an impossible thing to do because you could just replicate data infinitely as long as you had the storage for it. But now with introducing that aspect and also, the early primitives of art and then sort of like access, like what's the next thing for NFTs? And I think it's big data, like between the interplanetary file system and the distributed storage using things like Filecoin and content addressing. I think that's probably the next thing. It's probably going to disrupt a lot of cloud providers as far as data storage.
Yeah, I mean, it's for some folks that are just trying to learn and comprehend Bitcoin, right, and just understand that aspect of it and how it works. There's so many different levels, right, that this thing is going to disrupt, not just the finance side of things, but all industries in a way. So it's, for me, it was just taking the time to understand the basics. And I don't know much of the DeFi finance space. And your presentation today made me kind of, it's like, wow, this is how are banks going to be affected? How are things going to change within 5, 10 plus years, right? It's the and when I tell people it's the new internet, right? Because when the internet first came out, there were a bunch of naysayers about it. It's not going to last. And now, if you look at it, I think that this space is growing at, I think the stat was the last 10 years, 113% or year over year, the last 10 years. And the internet in 10 years, when it first came out, it grew at in the 63% year over year. So this space is growing almost twice as fast as the internet. So thinking that, I can't live without my phone. My kids are on their tablet. I do everything with the internet, right? So it's like we go out anywhere, and if there's no internet, my kids are freaking out, or I can't get my emails. So just imagining that concept and taking it into the whole blockchain, crypto, DeFi finance, it's pretty amazing, right? So, so I wanted to ask, in what area of crypto do you primarily focus on? I know you said DeFi finance. Is there anything specific in the DeFi finance space that you focus on?
So I mentioned decentralized finance and NFTs. I just moved here I spent the last 2 years abroad in Europe for my job. One of the things that's interesting about European cities, even like the smallest like villages, in the center of the town, there is a pedestrian area, and usually in that pedestrian area is a very large, ornate church. So when these towns were founded hundreds of years ago, the most important thing to them was that religion, and that church was the outward expression of that. If you go to like a modern city in America, there's usually at the center is like a financial district. Our biggest, most ornate buildings are the financial buildings. What's going to happen with decentralized finance when we're all our own bank? What's going to happen to those buildings? Like, what is the use case for all that real estate? I think that'll be an interesting sort of phase shift from overvaluing finance and building all these monuments to that towards, oh, guess what? Now we have control over our own finances, and we've disintermediated banks, insurance agencies, maybe even lawyers. Like, it's the code is law. It's pretty amazing what's happening. And NFT is just digital scarcity. Being able to have that immutable record on a blockchain somewhere, being able to recall that data with your NFT token, which is essentially an asset tag, that's going to be really powerful. And there's probably somebody listening to this thinking about the next amazing application for that technology.
Yeah, I know there with NFTs. I saw Tom Brady and some athletes are getting into it. In the sports side, I'm just imagining NFTing my son who plays soccer at an early age. May not be worth anything today, but if he becomes the next Pele, right? It's holy cow,
for sure.
Or Michael Jordan back in the day, right? So I think in the sports side of things, especially in the college scene, where now they can monetize from their image and things like that. So it's just so limitless on what NFTs can do. We can put theoretically our high school diploma or college diplomas right on an NFT because with that, do you feel like that you're most excited about the NFTs and the DeFi finance the most out of anything in the crypto space?
So those are two really exciting aspects that are happening right now. DeFi is continuing to grow and expand into other areas. I think I mentioned insurance and sort of futures trading on different aspects of it. Another thing is NFTs and digital scarcity. That's a very powerful technology that we haven't ever had before. I don't think there's anything that throughout history that can be compared to. It's going to be really exciting to see what happens in the next 2 to 3 years with both of those technologies.
So where do you see the government coming into play? Because obviously, large banks, large insurance companies, so forth, are very powerful within the government, and those entities are not going to just let it's all about the money, right? So if they're losing money, they're not going to allow what the future is. I don't know if they can stop it, but at least delay it, or have politicians in their pocket that are trying to make this hard for all of us.
So I think the only blockchain that has solved that so far is Bitcoin. Bitcoin is now sovereign grade encryption. We saw all of the hash rate move out of China and get reallocated elsewhere. We saw the internet in Kazakhstan get shut down, and the difficulty adjustment kicked in, so there was no loss of security to the network. Bitcoin is, I would assume at this point, impossible for a sovereign government to disrupt. Other ones that are more centralized, potentially, but I think Bitcoin has enough inertia now on its own that's it's unstoppable.
Yeah, Michael Saylor would be proud of you right now. But for yourself, are there any personal goals for your future in crypto and where you see yourself? I know you have day-to-day job, which you I don't know if you mentioned it, but for yourself, are you looking to be more of an educator? What's your future goals within the space?
I want to be a crypto world franchisee.
Yeah.
No.
Hey, get on the list. We got a ton of them.
Awesome. So I didn't really realize how early I was in my knowledge. Like coming here today and being able to speak at like a high level on decentralized finance to the audience here today was pretty incredible. I didn't realize that there weren't more people involved in that. I would expect like almost everyone out there to be, but that wasn't the case. So for me personally, I don't know if you're familiar with the term or it's an ancient Greek term called 𝐥𝐤, whereas in ancient Greece, a lot of your time was going to be spent in like self-sustenance, like an agrarian lifestyle. You're going to be trying to provide, you're going to be working hard all the time just to live. So school and learning was like the highest level of leisure you could achieve. But in modern times, we've turned like learning into a productive or and even sometimes mandatory task. So for me, like I like to learn about this in my leisure time. If I can leverage that towards something else, then that's fine. But right now, I just really enjoy talking about crypto and what's going on in the ecosystem.
Yeah, somebody made an analogy at a speaking engagement a few days ago that I went to, and it compared crypto space into like the Matrix. You've seen the movie The Matrix, and how we live this lie in a way, right? And then you either take the blue pill or the red pill to see what really is the truth. So pretty interesting comparison. I don't know if you guys have watched The Matrix, but yeah, I mean, it's like for us at Crypto World, our mission is to help educate the community and everything about crypto, right? So we want to be, as JFK would say, the rising tide to help, basically the crypto industry. And the more people that we educate, the better it is, not just for, the folks that don't understand it, but also for the whole community. Because if, somebody that doesn't know about it, they dabble in it, they tell somebody, they get into Bitcoin, right? It just helps not only the price, but the community get involved. I went to the Wyoming conference a few months ago, and I decided to fly into Denver, Colorado. And instead of me driving, I took an Uber from Denver to, it was at the Wyoming University. So I forgot the name of the town in Wyoming.
It's like Casper?
No, it was, it was
Cheyenne?
Not Cheyenne.
Cody?
No. But
name all the towns.
Yeah, no, I don't know. There's not a lot of big towns in Wyoming, but they've just done so many great things, and being able to be the leader in this space as far as in legislation and so forth. But anyways, I think it was like a 2-hour drive in an Uber, which is the longest Uber ride that I've ever taken. But the Uber driver, he was asking a lot of questions about what we were doing at Crypto World and crypto. He heard maybe a little bit about it, but didn't understand, just like, most people out there, he didn't understand the technology or the why. So, of course, in 2 hours, I had to let him know, give him some of my knowledge in the space. And then when he dropped me off, I told him, I said, hey, do you have like Cash App or anything? And he said, yeah, of course. I said, open it up. I'm going to tip you in Bitcoin. And he got very excited about it. So I tipped him, I think it was $100 worth of Bitcoin. And
talk about dollars, talk about Satoshis.
Yeah, Satoshis, right? I don't know what it was back then. But when I did that, I gave him my card. And he ended up texting me probably a month or so, and he was like thanking me. He said, that moment changed him. He took the 30, 40 minutes to do some research. Plus, he had to, figure out how to convert his Bitcoin to USD. And, then he started telling his friends and family about it. So that small moment, made him realize how this technology is going to disrupt everything that we do. But I didn't know that was going to be how it, not really ended, but at least how to get him started. But we're all very excited about this, and it's just having like-minded individuals like you to be able to talk and collaborate about it. And that's why I think Crypto World is such a unique place. I didn't know that the community was not only supportive, but we're already, in 4 months, we're already talking about franchising. So, and hopefully as we get more people educated, we even have, politicians that come in here that want to learn about it. And I think that's good for everybody. But for me, for you, I wanted to ask, if you had one piece of advice for everyone watching this, what would it be?
Go to beefy.finance. Well,
Yeah,
I had to say that.
yeah.
Beefy DAO member. But anyways, just learn as much as you can. The people are very gracious with their time. When I came in May of 2021, I had a lot of questions. People on the Beefy Discord were very patient with me, even though I was a newcomer. And it's just going to be, I can tell already, it's going to be a slow process to onboard more and more people, not only onto Beefy, but onto crypto in general. And I'm glad that I could come here today and help share some of that awareness and goodness that's happening in the decentralized finance space.
Yeah, absolutely. I think everybody here enjoyed your talk and engagement about Beefy Finance, Beefy.finance.
Beefy.finance.
Yeah,
yes.
I don't know. Are you the founder of Beefy.finance?
I'm not. I'm just a DAO member. So
Okay.
Just a community member.
Yeah, maybe we'll have you come back and talk a little more about Beefy.finance and also about DAOs, which is, oh my goodness, it's the, I guess, the new LLCs in a way, right? So it's the future of doing
kind of, but totally decentralized.
So, but yeah, man, Andrew, I appreciate the time that you've taken to talk with us. Like I said, we're going to NFT this moment because you are the first one that we've interviewed so far, and hopefully we'll have you back again.
Awesome.
Appreciate
Thanks,
it,
Jeff.
man.
Appreciate it.
Take care.